What's up, everybody? I am back for another video, honey. We got to get into this because I just had a terrible night, y'all. My damn air done went out and I had to run to Walmart and get fans. I don't even own a fan. Honey, child, when I tell you I'm hot, when I get off here, I got to jump and take me another bath, okay? But we got to get into this video. I don't know if y'all heard, baby, but Porsha Williams. Now, let's kind of backtrack it just a little bit. We all know that, in court, we learned that Porsha Williams basically gets to remain in the marital home, yada, yada. She can refinance it and all that, great stuff. And she's supposed to split the equity with Simon. And Simon is supposed to continue to pay the mortgage or pay the mortgage, and he is supposed to give her that monthly stipend. Well, baby, we got some information that not only is Simon not paying his mortgage allegedly. Well, I don't even know if we should even say allegedly, because he said he wasn't paying it. But Porsha, the property now is in more litigation because an outstanding lien has been filed against the equity of the home, which means that would need to be paid off before Porsha can even attempt to do any type of refinancing, y'all. So this is crazy. Let's get into this video, y'all. We got to get into the video, okay? And while we're doing that, make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And make sure y'all following me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick and Snapchat.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
I'm not sure how people make it without no damn air. Because when I tell y'all this is like torture, my son called me, he was like, the air went out. And I'm like, no, I'm sure you got to do, all these things to troubleshoot. And clearly it is out, honey. I had to run to Walmart and get fans. And when I tell y'all I am teetering on miserable right now, it's hot as hell. But I'm going to get through. Okay, it'll be working again tomorrow. So I'm going to take me a bath and hopefully I won't sweat it out tonight. But anywho, let's get into this video. Porsha is just having the worst luck ever. And as Nene say, you never win when you play dirty. Because, baby, this is not working out for her. A judgment has been filed against the marital home. And let's get into it. And the judgment is for the cost of Simon's attorney fees, okay? So what that means is Simon did not pay his attorney fees. And let's kind of get into it since I was in court. So what I learned from Simon's attorney, and I believe I spoke about this, Simon's attorney pretty much said Simon had been paying everything. Everything was all good. However, she said when Simon went into custody, obviously he was released. She said that she was not able to get a payment. Now, keep in mind, he was only out maybe a week or so before he actually went back to court for this final hearing. But what he testified to is that he just did not have the funds. He said he did not have the money. It felt like he should not be obligated to move forward with the prenup because he said that he just didn't have the money. He said since being incarcerated by ICE, he stated that he had lost a substantial income. Now, if y'all recall, I told you all because I was in court. Hello. What the judge said is the judge was pretty much like, I really don't believe it is what the judge said, because the judge was saying that for your income to be so substantial and for you to lose it all in a matter of 3 months. I think he was there for about 3 months. Don't quote me on it. But the judge was really like, I'm not buying it. Simon said he did not have the money. Now, at that time, again, his attorney pretty much testified that, she had not been paid. Now, this is what the lady said. Now, apparently, she had not been paid, and to right now, she still have not been paid because she has filed a lien against the property. Now, let's just kind of talk about what a lien is, because I understand everybody may not be knowledgeable on these type of issues. If you own property, okay, and you owe somebody money, what they can do is take the debt that you owe, whatever that may be, whatever the amount, and they can put a lien against your property. So essentially, this is what has happened. Simon's attorney is pretty much saying, Simon owes me for unpaid attorney fees. And what she has did is she has docketed a judgment, a lien, and she's put that amount toward the house. Now, the attorney is smart. She moved fast because she knows in this particular situation that this property is either going to be sold or transferred over to Porsha. However, it works. The transfer cannot take place until this is paid. Now, for everybody in the comments that's saying, oh, Porsha can still refinance it, or, they can still sell it. Unfortunately, the judgment has to be paid. So let me give you an example. If Porsha decides to refinance this house, before she can refinance it, this would have to be paid. If she is not able to pay it before, the bank, whoever is getting her the money, would need to include this debt into her loan, and essentially she would have to pay it off. So it's pretty much the same thing. So let's get into what's being reported. It says Porsha Williams' mega mansion now faces a lien after 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐫𝐷IA accused of owing his lawyer over $200K. Okay. Now we know that, again, Porsha was awarded the property, but doesn't really mean a lot when you can't refinance it in your name, or if there's going to be an outstanding judgment that you essentially can't pay. Now, Simon's attorney wants $205,884.25 because she's saying that this is the amount that is owed to her. This is the amount that Simon has not paid her. Again, this is generally what people do when you owe them money. This is a normal procedure. This is not something out of the norm. And like I told y'all, she's smart because what she did is she went after her money right away, because essentially she understands that at some point that if Simon does not put this property in the name of a trust, that the judge is going to move forward and do that without Simon. So what she's did is she's moved forward and got this judgment, which is essentially it really secures that she's going to get paid. For one, we know that the house has to be refinanced, so that has to happen. If the house is not refinanced, we know that it has to be sold. So she's guaranteed to get paid because there's no way she can't get paid. So very smart lady. Now, this is one thing that I want y'all to think about. When I thought about this, I said, wow, this is actually a little brilliant, because I didn't even think about this. And let me make sure y'all understand. I told y'all from the beginning that Simon is OG. He done been married a few times. And I don't know why she thought that she can play with him. Because when this happened, it made me think. Because guess what? We don't really know what other bill Simon owes. So essentially, any other creditors that he owes can do the same thing, therefore wiping out a substantial amount of this equity in this property. It can also mean that if more liens is filed against this property, it would make it almost impossible for Porsha to refinance. And again, as I thought about this, I said, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about this. So how odd as is it that Simon's attorney is filing a lien against his property? Again, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get your money, but I was thinking like, wow, I didn't even think about this. Well, this is what attorney, I think her name is Attorney Farley, but this is what she posted on her Instagram. She says she posted the Shade Room's story that they had on their page, and it says simonguobadia reportedly hit with a $200K attorney's lien on home Williams currently lives in. She said, Lord, why y'all got me on the shade room? Hey, because this is what we do. We is nosy and in everybody business. So what I was saying, y'all, is this is really bad because I didn't even think about this. When you own a property, if you owe somebody, they can sue you, docket the judgment against your property. We don't know, again, what, who else Simon may owe, which is, this could potentially be a problem. I mean, it's a problem now because what this does is it forces Porsha to have to pay for Simon's legal fees out of the equity of the home. Again, don't play a mess with an OG. Definitely don't play a mess with somebody that's been married more times than you've been alive. Okay, now that was a joke because that's not true, but y'all know he's been married a few times. So I have said this and I'll say it again. I feel like Porsha is really digging a hole for herself. I feel like she would have been more secure in her own property. She could have potentially sold this property and used those proceeds to, pay off her home, maybe upgrade her home. I feel like this is definitely going to be a problem because let's say she finds somebody to buy her home, which we know probably won't happen unless she really slashed the price, because the 1.8 is really steep for properties in that immediate area, especially being that some of those other properties look a lot better than hers. So let's just say she sold a property. Let's just say she sold it for 1.8 million. Pay off whatever her mortgage or whatever she owes and walk away, let's say with a few dollars, whatever it is. Let's say with the property with Simon, how about if there's so many judgments that it inflates the cost of her loan that it doesn't even make sense for the bank to even give her a loan? Or what if she doesn't find a buyer for her home? Essentially, if she cannot find a buyer for her home, she stated in court that if she could not sell her home, she wouldn't be able to get a new loan. So it's too many contingencies kind of holding over her head in order to move forward with this new property, which is absolutely crazy because it almost seems like she's going to be put in an unstable situation and hope that this goes through. And with everything now that's going on with the attorney now coming for the 200 and something thousand, I feel like Porsha's attorney is probably going to do the same thing, because if Simon isn't paying that monthly, amount to her, if he's not paying the mortgage, how is Porsha's attorney going to get paid? And I got some tea on that because word on the street is he said that he needs to get away and move on and that his time with Porsha is up. And I feel like it's because he knows that Simon ain't paying, and therefore, how is he going to get paid? So this is so bad for her. I feel like, again, she had a beautiful home. I would have upgraded my home, made some, modifications to my home, or even if she wanted to sell it and get something a little bit better. But you go from your property that I guess you're selling from 1.8 to a damn near $8 million. Girl, that is crazy. You go from paying what, I don't know how much she pays, maybe 10,000 or something like that, to paying 75. That is crazy. Again, so I just feel like this is going to be really bad for her. And I think in the end, she's going to regret it, because even going into it, it's not looking good. She's been slapped now with an over $200,000 debt that now she would need to pay to be able to refinance his home. And I know some of y'all are going to say, well, what happened to the money that Simon gave her? And I'm going to say this one more time. Simon is not a citizen of the United States of America. We done talked about that. That's number one. Number two, he don't have any assets in the United States of America. For three, him not being a citizen, they cannot enforce any judgment. He in a whole nother damn country. Number 4, if he don't pay, who gonna do something to him? He's not like, so y'all think that the United States is going over to Nigeria to arrest him? So although there is a court order saying what he's supposed to do, if he don't do it, which he said he's not, there is nothing that nobody can do about it. So hopefully that can answer some of y'all questions. But as for Porsha, in Nene Leak's voice, you never win when you play the.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot.